Hey Teaquilters, today is Monday, April 13th. This is an extra sew along and chat, and we are working on part 2 of the pineapple blocks. Just wanted to get that out before we get too many people into the chat. Today we're filming at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, just doing a day chat as well. Let me see if I can reach over here and get this light. I am kind of bouncing all over the place today. I always take my granddog to the groomers on the second Monday of the month. And I just figured that they were going to be closed, but something told me to get up at 7:15 and call and see if they were open, and lo and behold, they were open. So I had to go pick the dog up from my daughter's house, take the dog to the groomer, went to the post office trying to post some stuff that I had already had prepaid postage on, and I couldn't get the big mailbox that you can drop the packages in to open. I guess it had so many packages in it that it was stuck. And I could hear people in the background, but nobody would come take the packages out. Typical. So I go back home, and then they call me to pick up the dog. So I go pick up the dog. I go back to take the dog to my daughter's house, ask my daughter if she needs something from the grocery store. I'm going to run to the grocery store. I go to the grocery store. I don't know if it's every Monday or if it's because it's the Monday after Easter, but the grocery store didn't open until noon. So that wasn't going to work for me. So I went, and I didn't know that, so I thought it was just at one store. So I went to another store, and it had a sign up saying it wasn't opening until noon. So then I went back to the post office, dropped off all my stuff. Oh, and I come back home, but when I picked up the dog, I had gone in and dropped the dog off the first time, went back to pick the dog up, went back out the door, and then something said, none of those ladies in there have on masks. So I go back in so I can talk to the people, talk to the owner, and she says that they only have 3 people working because of their square foot, and that none of them have masks. And so I had a mask on because I figure you never know if you're a carrier for something or not, and I definitely don't want to make anybody sick. So I had a mask on, but none of the people in there have a mask on, and they're like within 3 feet of me. So I was like, I'm gonna go home and make you all some masks. And then she says, now this is my second time in and out, and she go, oh, did you make the mask you're wearing? I go, yes. So I came home and I made a couple of masks. I got to make at least one more to get them one mask, but I like to make them like 2 a piece if possible. So I made this first mask, and I'm going to wash these guys because I've been trying them for fit. I've got the wire inside. I looked at, I've watched a lot of mask videos, and this one with the ties, because I'm kind of getting tired of the elastic behind my ears, and I don't even wear them all day. So I figured this was my first time making them with the ties, that I would most definitely try that. So I put this on, and right here, there's it kind of sags right here. And I think I'm going to end up doing a video on how to make a mask because I've watched so many. And I don't want to do any complicated curve sewing, especially if I got to make a lot of them, but I would like for them to fit. So the first one was kind of big right here, and then I fixed it on the second one that I made where it's not so big. So I may do a mask video, and then also the stuff that I've been putting inside, because people are still confused as to what I'm actually putting inside of my mask. And there are so many things that you can put in there, but I've only used 2 or nothing. So let's go ahead and see who's in the chat room. Let me pull this up on my cell phone, take off all these notifications. So, let's see. We got Vicky Lemire. Hi, Vicky. She was first one in here today, or first one commenting. Hi, Erica Selman. She says, what, daytime live? Woohoo! Yes, it was requested. I've got Mary here. She says, howdy, did you get that hail the other night? We got some rain last night. I don't think we got hail. I don't think. Dawn Krogel is here. Says, good morning, all. Hi, Dawn. Susan Truby says, first time live, long time listener. Thanks for all you do. So welcome, Susan. Thanks so much for coming to one of the lives. Just doing some extra chats as requested from a viewer to do some daytime ones as well. Jennifer Mizard is here. Says, hi from Sheffield. June Hansen says, hi, Miss T and all. June, I'm trying to figure out, why did you send me a check? I got your card, but I'm going to save it for Wednesday. I thought you were on a list, on the retreat list, because I didn't pay attention to the name when you told me you were sending a check. And I just said, okay, so I don't even know what it's for. But Mary says, you are so sweet, T. You're welcome, Mary. Thank you so much. Vicky says, I put my straps on the sides of mask, and I've seen them on the sides too. And I've tried this on, and for what the type of mask that it is, the number of pleats, and the finishing touch that I do to make it fit, it actually fits really good. And I think I am going to do a video. I've been avoiding doing a mask video because there's so many of them out there, but I guess I may as well do one because my channel's feeling naked now. It doesn't have a mask video. And Erica says that she has a mask factory going on today. LA Quinn is here, says hello T. Hello, welcome. Jada Smith is here, says hi T and Quilt family. Finally caught up with you all live again. Welcome back. And June says we got 5 inches of snow. Oh my gosh. No, thank you. And she's saying yuck, but I don't want it. June Billings is here, says hi T and hi everyone. Hi June. And Kim Burris is here saying hi T. Hi Kim. Jada says hi T and Quilt family. Earling here from Wisconsin. Finally caught back up with you all. I saw the other one. Maybe she didn't think I saw it. But welcome, Earlene. Appreciate that. Cheryl Lynn is here. Says, hey, T and Quilt Fam. And Mary is saying, please do a mask video. I've watched a lot, but I like to see yours. My thing is, I try to, all the curve piecing and stuff, or any complicated cutting, I just don't want to do, especially if I'm going to be mass producing something. So I'm still going to stick with the rectangles, but I think I found the trick to the rectangle. So, and then with the ties, because the ties also help to keep things nice and flat. So I probably will do a video. I've only made these 2. I've started on a 3rd one, but I need to cut. I think I got enough pieces cut to make 6 so that I can make them 2 each, because I was trying to use dog and cat fabrics since they are the vets. I mean, they're not the vets, they're the groomers. And so that's what they're grooming, is cats and dogs, mostly dogs. So I thought that I would use novelty prints for them. I thought I'd make it fun for them to wear. Okay, so June says that that's the money to send the 50 blocks back, and I should have stated it. And I looked on the check, and I'm like, June doesn't owe me any money, so I don't understand why she's sending me a check. And when you said, I'm sending you a check, and I'm just like, okay, thinking it was a retreat payment or something. So yes. And then Vicky says, I made for my kids. Doris O says, hi TNT Quilters, belated happy Easter. Thank you so much for doing this so long. I am the one that asked you to do it. Thank you so much, Doris, for the suggestion. And she says, you are such a sweet and giving person. Thank you again. You are so, so welcome. No problem. Kevin the Quilter is here. He's cutting up. Girl, I want to sew with you. We are out delivering eggs. Hey, I should have put an order in if you're really delivering eggs like that. That is too funny. Mary says, I heard there was an AccuQuilt dye for masks. I don't know what size AccuQuilt. They have them for the Go as well as the Studio, and I think they all will go into even the Go Baby. I think no, I don't. It won't go into the Go Baby, I don't think, but it'll go into the Go. I think because if you've got to have it a minimum of 6 inches one way, I don't think if the Go Baby is 6 inches, you still got to have room around. So I wouldn't say it will go in the Go Baby, but we shall see. So we're gonna continue on with our blocks. I have, when I last left you all Saturday, I told you that I wasn't gonna add this last piece of green. Let me just hold up one block so it's not confusing. We're to the point where I need to add green over on this side, over here. And then we'll be finished with the third round of color. And then we're actually looking for 4 rounds of color. So that's where we are with the sewing. If you want to know how I cut, and I did use the AccuQuilt pineapple die. If you're interested in that, you need to go back and watch the beginning of part 1. It doesn't say part 1, it's just saying pineapple and pineapple blocks and chat. This one I named part 2 so you would know the difference. So that's where we are, and I don't want to repeat for the people that have already sat through and heard me say all of that. So we're now got to add we're working on 6 blocks as well, and the finished size of the blocks are going to be 10 inches when I'm done. So let me go ahead and start sewing these pieces onto here. And I did break my thread. I took off the pineapple block I had left on here because I had to make the mask. And I don't know if they're going to even, they normally close early some days, and I don't know if they're going to work till 5 or 6 p.m. like they normally do. But if not, I'll be there first thing in the morning to make sure these ladies have masks. I'm taking this off because I didn't pay attention to the fabric. And I just used the fabric that's already in the block. See? That's what talking to do for you. So as you sew, so shall you rip. Here we go, starting out. And I don't like ripping. I think I had to rip one block last time because I put the fabric on wrong side up. And sometimes when I do that, I'll just go ahead and keep sewing. But in this instance, I want to make sure I get the true value of the colors because my colors are so similar. I'm using greens and teals. And there is not a big jump in the color family, so I really need to make sure I get all the value I can. What a start. Start off ripping. And I can't read the comments because my iPad is too far away from me to read it because they're so tiny on the big iPad. So I'll have to go to my phone to read the comments. So give me a chance to sew at least these 6 pieces on before I go back. I'm trying to pay attention this time. So I may get quiet. I finished sewing. I finished ripping out the quilting on my purple quilt. Got that re-quilted. I had to take out an entire row of quilting because the tension was bad on the back. So I got all of that done, the rest of it done Saturday and Sunday. I quilted it. And then this morning I got up and put the binding on. I just got to do where I got to do those 2 ends where it connects at the end. That's all I got to sew. And then I need to make a label, and then I can start hand sewing the binding down. So the purple quilt is almost done. That will be my only finish so far for the month of April. I've been quilting customer quilts and filling customer orders. For some reason, since we're on lockdown, I've been selling a lot of patterns online. And then also in the Facebook group, I posted a picture of my fabric that I normally sell when I vend. And people have been also buying that fabric. So I've been just shipping fabric, and I'm so grateful because at the rate I'm going, I'm going to have enough to pay for my mom's refrigerator that I bought for her. So I don't have to go into my savings or anything to pay for the refrigerator. I put it on my Discover card so that I could get cash back points. And yeah, so at the rate I'm going, it'll be paid for. So, and remember, we always leave one on there just so we're not breaking the thread in between. And then I use starched on my fabrics, and so I'm just pressing them with this wooden iron that I call it. And then when I get my completed block done, I will go and do a final press at the iron before I put them together. But just to sew the next piece on, this is very sufficient. All right, so this is what we have now. Let me see what's all in the comment section, because there's some whole lot of comments in here. Tiffany is here. Hi, Tiffany. Hope you're doing good today. Kevin the Quilter says these blocks are gorgeous. Thank you so much. You can make one too. She says her husband just bought her some backing fabric, enough to do 4 quilts, so I can get to more long-arm work before the heat stops me from quilting. Let's see. Regina Connor is here. She says, "Oh goodness, I missed the live. We just started. I was just talking about mask." Erica says, "I took some quilting stitches out last week. It was awful." Yes, indeed. I hate ripping. And talking about ripping long arm stitches, because it's so easy and so fast for you to make a big mistake. And like I said, I think my bobbin may not have been set in, and I had to take that entire row out because of a bad placement of a bobbin. So just got to pay attention to everything all the time. That's Erling says, "I would like to make a pineapple quilt. I'm looking for a pattern and ruler." I have another video that you all can Google on pineapple blocks. I showed you 2 different ways to make them, and one of them was using Guyleen Fitzgerald's ruler, and another one was just using squares, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a little while, probably 2 years or something, but go search for the other pineapple tutorial. I just did this one because it was easy for me to cut to do a sew along using the AccuQuilt system. And I forgot to look up the information for the wooden iron. Somebody's got to email me or tell me. I got it at either Houston, or I got the Kevin's asking where did I get it. I got it either at Houston or Rosemont, Illinois at Quilt Festival. And the person that sells them and make them, Kevin, is in Missouri. I'm going to have to find that, and I'm going to have to tell you all on Wednesday. And Katie Y says, Tijuana, have you gotten nothing completed during this whole lockdown? I am frustrated. My house is a wreck. My sewing room is blocked off due to construction, and this quarantine is fruitless. I have gotten a lot done. I've gotten 8 quilts done in the past, 4 quilts each month in the month of February and March. In April, I've been just quilting for customers, so that's why I don't have a whole lot done for myself. But since March 28th, I have made a queen size quilt from scratch. I pieced that top in 10 days, and then I just got it quilted, and it's got the binding on the front, but I got to get it to the back. So I've been busy. I've just been doing other things and haven't finished anything. And I've made a slew of these masks that I've given to either high-risk members in my family or those that are essential employees. I wanted to make sure they had masks to go to work. Tiffany says, I use Marshall Dry Goods for most of my 108 needs because it's the cheapest that I found so far. And that's what I do sell, Marshall's Dry Goods backing, 108-inch backing. I do use that as well. So I have like, I can't remember the name of the line because I just go get it. But it was one that I thought was the prettiest for me. You know, everybody has their own opinion. And so I bought like various colors of one line. Mary says, T, you go to the Houston Quilt Festival? Yes, I do. Do you have a booth there? No, I don't. Kevin says, hopefully Quilt Show will happen. Houston Quilt Show will happen this year. Yeah, everything's kind of up in the air. I did get contact from the lady for our retreat. She was just checking to see if we were still on for a retreat. She says that they're not at work right now, but if, you know, we're all hoping that things will open up. I'm hoping by April 30th, but we may have to go into May. But we're just in this wait and see mode. So Katie Y says, you inspire me. I wish I could say the same. I'm just busy doing other stuff. June says, I got my granddaughter growth chart done. Now back to making masks. That's pretty cool. I'm glad she got it for her birthday. Mother Serenity. Hello, Teaquilts. I am new to your channel. I did not go to sewing school. A lot of what you're saying, I am so confused. Should I stay on your channel or find an easier channel? Did you go to sewing school? No, I did not go to sewing school. Sewing is just something that I've always wanted to do. I started sewing. Should you go to another channel? Absolutely not. We're already in the middle of a project that you're coming in on. So, no. What I would recommend you do is watch some of my other videos because I show you how to make quilt blocks step by step, and I probably frustrate a lot of my advanced quilters, but I make sure that the beginner can do it. So if I were you, I probably would start with something easy. If you've never done any sewing or quilting, I would search. I have a playlist of string and crumb quilts. That would be the easiest place to start because you don't have to worry about matching anything up until you get to your final block, sewing them together, and then by that time you should be more advanced with your 1/4-inch seam. So absolutely not. My channel is geared towards newbies. You're just coming in on part 2 of a project. And I see a couple more comments, and then I'm going to go back to sewing so we can at least get some blocks done. And Mary is also saying, at Mother Serenity, welcome and stay right here. Tea is fantastic. And I'll answer any question. So even if you're working on something and you're kind of stuck, if you can describe it to us enough that we can help you, people when we're live, people in my chat will help. You can also put a question on any of my videos. I read all comments. It may take me a few days to get to them because sometimes I only get 1 day a week to read comments. But I do reply to the comments, or I give you a heart to let you know that I saw it. So Shaquita is here. Hi, Shaquita. I got your blocks from the post office today. You and Brenda Harwood, I think is her name. Leetta is here saying that she made 20 masks yesterday, a first. Saying I lost my connection to the server. I'm still moving up here, but my comments went away. So let's try this again. Let me close out and open it back up. And then we're going to sew. We're not going to start sewing the white. We got to do the white side now. So I'll pull down just some of my white pieces. We've got to put white all the way around, 4 pieces on each side. And the nice thing about the pineapple block is that depending upon how you put your fabric placement, you can come out with different designs. It's really cool. And the reason why I die cut is because it's faster, number one. And number two is that all of my dog ears have been trimmed off. I don't have those points out here that I would have to later trim off. And there are so many different methods for making pineapple blocks. You can cut your pieces to size. You can overcut them and then trim. A lot of companies have rulers where you can do that, including like Guyling Fitzgerald. You can also paper piece your pineapple block. So there are so many different ways that you can do it. So you don't have to have a go-cutter to make a block. As I said, for those that just came in, I do have another video up showing you 2 different ways to make pineapple blocks. I made it about 2 years ago. So that's also an option. Look up that video when you get a chance. And the last one down here, I need to clip it off so I can add the white. Saturday, somebody asked me if using the wooden press stick would stretch out my seams, and it does not. I have been using that for years and have never had a problem because I'm only pressing on the seam line, not on the edge of my cut piece. I'm just pressing the seam over, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and add my next piece because I don't have to press those up yet. They're not going to interfere with me piecing, so I'm going to go all the way around. And my background is all one fabric too. Just made it easier on myself. You can make all of it scrappy if you like. So how is your day going? I've told you all what I've been up to. Tell me what you've been up to. Some of you all say you've been sewing, making masks. I think we're going to be making masks for a long time. Now, I have to say too, I wasn't as bored making these 2. Now, I don't know if I make 100 of them, if I'm going to get bored, or if I make 10. Because I was so bored with the other way of making the mask, and I really didn't like it. But I think I might have found the way that I like to make masks. Don't have to flip through a tiny hole when you use the binding too. I don't have my phone situated where I can see it. Need to see if I can pull this cord. I've got it on the charger. It says it's at 100%. Maybe I can take it off. Okay. That's 2 pieces on all of them. So we got 2 more to go. Two more to go. So far, I haven't been using pins. I'll stitch about 3 or 4 stitches at the beginning, and then I pull my other end into position. Once I've got the front end tacked down with the blunt edges, I know exactly where it goes, so I just place it in position and sew all the way down. So that's been neat too, that I haven't had to use any pins. Also, when you die cut with the Quilt systems, you use a full 1/4 inch seam. Don't use a scant. That way you make sure your pieces line up. Alrighty, we need 6 more pieces. I ran out of pieces that I pulled down. Six more. Alrighty. So I'm just going to keep this project as a sew along because I don't have any plans. I don't need it right away. Just so I can have some project to work on and don't have to figure out what I'm going to be sewing every time we come back. I cut out enough for 12 blocks. So this is the first 6 that I'm working on. And we're getting close to the end of these. So once I get these on, I'll start answering some chat comments. We also do live chat. We normally have live chat on Wednesday nights. That's our normal chat night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're available, please come back and chat with us then. I have 2 people turned in their swap blocks, so I'll have that. June Hansen sent me a nice Easter card, so I'll have that. And I think the topic is going to be me reading comments. I've never read my comments section, so we're going to do that. So maybe my top 20 comments, maybe. Or the last 20 comments, rather. How about that? One more to sew, and then I need to press. Got to press all 4 because I didn't do it in between. see. Somebody asked Regina which mask that I enjoy making. The style with the even though you use more fabric for the straps, to me they're just easier to sew when you don't have to worry about putting elastic into the corner. So to me it was easier to sew. So that's why I said those are really nice. And Leetta said we won one of those wooden irons at a retreat. And we had one, that was the first one we had like eons ago. Nobody ever had that out. And whoever husband made it so that it was for left and right-handed people, which I really was impressed by. So it's just been a long time. And I can't remember whose husband made it. Um, Hold on. I'm trying to get back to where I was. So Leetta, I said hers. Katie Y says, Mother Serenity, I taught myself with Teaquilts help to quilt. You can too. She has awesome videos that will help greatly. And that's what I was trying to incinerate, because if you look at any other video other than what we're doing today, you're just coming in the middle of a project. But at the beginning, I kind of tell you what you need, and then I show it till you cut, and then I sew the pieces. I show you every step. So you should be able to get some help from my channel. Shaquita says, hi T, off today. Power just came back on. Behind on what I wanted to work on. Oh my gosh. I know that they had a lot of storms going through Atlanta and Alabama. I got a lot of family in Atlanta and Alabama. So I was concerned about that. I was up when Diane came on saying that she was in the basement. So I know it was pretty bad. Sin Forrest is here. She says, don't forget to thumbs up. I'm doing it right now so I don't forget. Thank you so much, Sin. I appreciate that. Okay, my screen is bouncing around. First of all, it didn't want to act right before. Now it's just bouncing around. Regina says, I agree. Claudette Bettis is here. She says, hi T and everyone late coming in. Hi Claudette, welcome. And I don't know what they're talking about, so I'm not going to read all of that stuff. They got 7K, 5K, this K. So I'm just going to go ahead and press my seams. And see, when I even press that, it kind of holds a little memory. So it's not, when I'm laying it down, it stays, it doesn't flop back over either. So I just love it. If you got starch or any kind of sizing in your fabric, this definitely works. And I had Best Press. I just happen to have it sitting there. I don't use Best Press all the time because I have found a good source for Best Press. You can get it $5 a container. But I still don't buy it and use it all the time because I tend to make my own starch, except that I'm out of it. So I'm out of both ways. I'm out of the vodka that is potato free, and I'm also out of magic starch, the concentrated starch, which is what I normally do too. So I tend to make my own. And I just haven't taken the time to order. What's so weird for me is that I normally order a whole lot off of Amazon. And I haven't ordered a thing since we've been on quarantine from Amazon, okay? I ordered the Filty sheets, and that's it. Until today. When I ordered some stuff from Crafter's Companion because they had it at a great deal. But I have not been ordering and doing any shopping online. So, and the Filty was the only reason I went out there was because we were making masks. Other than that, I wouldn't have bought anything. So, but I also gave my mail person money to have lunch on me just because they're out here working. One day she came through, it was just all junk mail. So I'm like, this is just ridiculous. She's got to hit every house, and if you don't have mail, just to deliver junk mail. So it's like, let me buy you lunch. She's like, no, don't do that. No, no, no. I'm like, oh, yes. I get her something at Christmas, and so she didn't want to like overdo it. But it's like, no, honey, you deserve this. I have a niece that's I got a niece and a cousin that is deliver mail. My niece is on a rural route, so she drives, and my other one, she walks. So I have to take care of those girls and guys. All right, so I don't want to put the same fabric on again. I'm paying attention. I'm putting on teal. So now we got to do the color one more time. We have 4 whites now. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we only got 3 of the colors. So we're going to do that now and get 4. And then at that point, we just need to put corners on. So I'm trying to make sure we get some blocks finished today. Otherwise, you all are going to talk about me really bad. And I want to take this one off so I can press all the rounds of the white. And I got to make sure I don't use the same fabric. If I make more than 12 blocks, I'll probably add some more fabrics into this just so it'll be easier to put this together. If I don't like it, we'll just put the 12 blocks together when I'm done. But that's a long way ahead. I gotta pay attention, guys. Make sure I don't sew the same fabric on here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to hire one of you all as my personal ripper. I hope you all are chatting in the comment box. Thanks, Sin, for the $4.99. Thank you for the super chat. I gotta take my phone off this charger and move this stuff. I'm trying to keep it so I got all of my mask making stuff right here. I got too many projects out. But that's how it be sometimes. It's like I started out with 13 fabrics. I need 8 different fabrics per each block, and it seems like I only have 8 fabrics or something. It's weird. we're going to do the other side of the teal. I probably need to press this because otherwise I can't see the fabric that it's covering. And we don't want to rip. Two. All right, so this one is not in a block. We're getting close, guys. Another 2 more pieces after this one. We got to add 2 greens. I haven't looked at a whole lot of videos of people sewing. I've watched some of Tiffany's. I don't know how they get it done. I feel like I'm ignoring you when I'm working, and then if I'm not working, I'm not getting it done. I think that's different. And I do like chatting with you all. You all are funny in the chat box sometimes, so I do like that. This one is not. So one more teal. This one will do. And we'll put these back up. And then I'll read the comment section. I'll press one of these so you can see what we got. They're getting bigger. As I mentioned before in a previous part 1, this block has 37 pieces. So this block is not for the faint at heart. Has a lot of pieces inside of a 10-inch finish square. I need one on this one. We missed one. Right here. Wasn't paying attention. My pieces are to the point where they won't, when I want to put the other end on, it's not on my flatbed of the sewing machine. So let me move that out. Let me go back and see if I can find something. Hold on. Angela Stringer. Hi, Angela. She says, hi, T. Finally got a link. I have Guilene's ruler, creative grids, large and small. I've made 1 pineapple quilt. I'm hoping that I make more than one since I've got the die. And I do like different configurations of it, so I'm hoping that I'll do a little bit more. Maybe I'll only do 12 blocks and do another quilt. Who knows? But isn't that funny? Rose Wall says, hi T, I look forward to this all day yesterday. Then here I am late. Been watching on TV a bit. Hi Rose. And you can't type on the television in the comments. So I know a lot of people watch on the television and then they can't comment. Haha T, we were talking about making my garage proper cool for my longworm so I can work there year long. Okay, because I said I must miss something. Kim says you make quilters moonshine. Damali J is here. Says hi everyone from District Heights, Maryland. Raining and windy here. Safe in the basement. Yes, please stay safe. Kevin says now that right there proves we all got a sweet tea. Taking care of her mail carrier. Yes, I always do. Thanks. And starch and stuff. Laughing out loud. The blocks are sure looking pretty. Thank you. Kelly says, hi everyone. This is Kelly A. Says, hi everyone. I'm still working but took a break to come join the fun for a bit. Hey Kelly, thanks so much. Better late than never from Sin. Those blocks look very nice. Thank you so much. And Sin saying, you're the best T. Thank you. That's so sweet. And let's see. Who else? Kelly A is saying the blocks look amazing. Linda Griffith is here. She says the blocks look great. I like the colors. Thank you so much. How many blocks are you going to make? Right now I have 12 blocks cut out. Trying to decide if I like it or not. If I really am in love with it, I'll make it bigger. If not, we'll cut some more out of scraps or something and do something else. June liked those blocks. Some people talking to Tiffany, so I'm just skipping over those. June says we won't have nobody to watch on Sunday night. So they're talking to Tiffany. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and continue. I'll show you when I press this seam what the block looks like. So now we're kind of oblong because we've now got to add the fourth green to the top and bottom. All the way around, all 6 blocks. Let me leave a couple of them back there just so I know where they go. And we got to make sure we're not using the same fabric. All right. Start again. And I always have to pull that first one off. So let me get that one. Tina Flock says, hi T and everyone. Finally a good time for a live to watch from Germany. Usually I just get to watch the uploads, doing some hand sewing while I watch. Welcome to the live, Tina. We appreciate it. Glad you were able to make it and glad you're actually utilizing your time while you watch. Sometimes my husband, he like, do you ever go to sleep? I normally do go to sleep, but since we've been in this nightmare around the world, I have not been able to sleep very good. I don't sleep very long. So I've been more of a basket case recently. Okay, so I just put that one on there. Trying to make sure I keep them in the chaining order to make sure everything gets a piece. Because we're getting to the end of our series of 6 blocks. And that just might be our goal today. We don't want to be an overachiever. What time is it? It's almost been an hour already. But I did do an intro, and I did read the chats. 1, 2, 3. Okay. They're getting big fast now. I guess I did not press the teal when I took them off my machine. I got another customer quilt to quilt, and then I need to figure out what I'm going to do next for myself. As far as quilting, because I'm not gonna start, you know, I got some stuff for Scrap Club I should be working on, but here I am working on a pineapple quilt. We got, for Scrap Club this year, we picked 5 projects instead of a project a month. We picked 5 projects that you could start anytime and finish anytime during the year. So even though we're not meeting now because of the dilemma that we're all in, we are still working on those projects. So I've been seeing some photos from people, so that's pretty good. I've only done one, which was the purple quilt. So I've done that one, so I need to do another one. I also want to do one of the projects I want to do as a sew along with you guys. So I have not been into the group to open up the Teaquilts sew along. If you want to be in the sew along, we're going to do one of Kevin's projects. I still got one more. So if you want to be in the sew along, you must be in the Teaquilts Facebook group. So there's a Facebook group called Teaquilts LLC. So go and join Teaquilts, and then over there is where I will announce when I open up the group. And it's only going to be open for a period of time, and then it's going to close back up. So that's why you need to be in the group Teaquilts in order to get in. And we're going to work on one of Kevin's quilts as a sew along. He's agreed. Okay, it's over here. I'm not putting stuff back in the same spot. And so then you lose it. Okay. This has 4 pieces. Let's see. This one has 4. We're on green. This one only has 3 on one side. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. They get all out of order. I don't know how it happens. Maybe because I'm talking and not paying attention. Gotta make a match. Okay, this one only has 3. So I think we're all of these are at 3. Just gotta find the right material to add. last one, maybe. Let's see, this one is not on here. But this is one of these blocks where you can take some god-awful ugly fabrics and it's going to turn it into something beautiful. So let's see if the remaining ones on here all have 4. This one has 3 on one side. This is 4. And the other one is 4. So just this one. You all are just chatting away in there. I see Tiffany's name a lot. Okay, one more piece on here. And then we'll have all of our teal and green pieces added. And I'm making what they consider to be more of a 4 fabric block because I've got green, teal, background is white, and then my red center is a fabric. And then I've added 2 other different red fabrics though. But this is considered a 4 block, a 4 fabric, but I've got more than that. So it's really a 6 in a way. So this is what we have. We're finished with all of our actual rounds. In order to make this square now, we just got to add half square triangles on the teals and the blues. And what I've done is I've cut 2 half square triangles. You can make them, I'm trying to do where it's not very high contrast. So these are very subtle, where they are, this one's darker than this one over here. And so I want to decide which side I want to put the dark ones and then which side I want to put the light ones. So I'm going to put the dark ones on the teal. Again, it's really nice because when I put this up here, I don't have to fold. You know how you have to normally fold your triangle in half, put a little crease, and you got to fold your corner. The nice thing with the die cutting system is that these blunt ends just go on the edge, on the edge of this fabric piece. So they just line right up perfect. I love it. I don't know if you can see that, but... And then I'm moving it as I'm moving it up. But you can see where this blunt end over here is sitting up against the edge of this teal. So no points to trim. Makes it easy to line up. And we're putting the darks onto the teal. So. And we got to keep that consistent throughout. I thought I heard our emergency thing for the test, which today is Monday, but then it stopped. Okay, teal gets the dark, so we'll put this light up and just pull the darks down. So we've got 12 of those to do. And if you didn't want these triangles to be a different color, they could have just been the same color as your other fabrics, your greens and your teals. It just would extend the greens and teals out into the corner. But I'm opting to make them stand out. to match my center. We're getting there. And we also have to turn these around and do it on the other side as well. So both sides of the teal. So I'm gonna cut my chain. 2. And we may actually get our blocks done today. How about that? Rotate them all around so I can do the other side. I don't know if Jennifer Mizard is here. I think I saw a comment about her wanting some fabric. I don't know how I missed reading that. I just got a duplicate in this block. I told you it was going to happen. I got this fabric right here. It's sitting right there. Oh, well, I tried. I told you it was going to happen. Still did it. I am not ripping all of that out. It was in the 3rd round, which means I would have to take off the white and a round of teal. And, you know, the greens. I have to take off 2 whole rounds. That's not going to happen. No way. That made me start a hot flash. I'm about to break out in the sweat now. Woo. Woo. Goodness gracious. I think I got one on the end that needs to be taken off to get a second corner of this dark, because I don't remember taking it off. So let's check it out. Yep. At least I'm not completely out the building. I'm here with you guys a little bit. I'll read some comments after I stitch this one through before I add the red. The lighter reds is kind of like a medium red. This is a dark red. They're both really dark though. Let's see. Let me go back. People are talking about hair or not being able to cut the hair, and I see people saying, Tina says, I always let my hair grow, so I'm fine. Just want to make sure. She say, Rose is saying, this really makes me wish I had the die cutting machine. June says, you make it look so easy. Nice job. Kelly A said, that's a nice benefit. No estimating 1/4 inch dogger points on each end or having to fold triangle and the block in half to find the middles. Yep, I've said that. Linda Griffin is saying, using the die saves a lot of time compared to paper piecing. Yes, and with the paper piecing, it's just that you also have then got to go pull all the paper out as well. If you're going to long arm quilt it or get it long arm quilted, I think you do better just using like a muslin or an interfacings. They have those kind that you can purchase where it's already pre-printed onto like interfacing. I just have never enjoyed pulling all of the paper out of paper piecing. I just haven't. And that's why I will pull it as I go. Like once I get all the edges surrounded, once I get the block done, I'll pull everything out that's surrounded on all four sides. So this is our block right now. This piece is down. But this is what we have. Now we got to put the lighter reds on the other two corners with the green. So we'll go ahead and press this, but we never did put up our extra green pieces. Okay. So we'll flip these over. And then as I said, before I even would sew these into blocks, I would make sure that I, like sew the blocks into a quilt top, I would make sure that I press my seams with an iron to make sure everything's laying nice and flat. And don't iron, don't move your iron, you just want to press, just lift and press. The blocks are already done, everything's where it's supposed to be. You don't want to go pressing and make it cattywampus. This one right here is the last one that I can press, minus the one that's on my machine right now. So we'll bring down some of the lighter reds now and put those on the green. And I don't even have I got one over there. I have to leave the I have to leave my position here for a minute to go get the board design wall so you can see it once I'm done. I'll try to put a few blocks on it so you can see why I'm putting different fabrics on the corners. I'll see if I can pull one that can hold 4 blocks. I'm hoping I got one big enough over there. I do like my pineapples with like at least another round, but this will do. And the fact that I'm using a different color on the end as well. But we'll see in a minute. It's all a test. It's nothing but fabric. I got plenty of it. I can make it again. Where's Diane 57? Just thought about she's not here. Hope everything's okay with her. This is the one that doesn't have any. Getting closer, guys. What time is it? Let's see. It's 2:12. We're doing fine. It won't take me 45 minutes to sew 7 more corners, so we should be great. Those are okay. Put the red on the other side. And then once I finish these reds, I am going to go ahead and, well, I might have something here I can sew on. I was going to say I was going to cut my thread, but just so I can have all 6 blocks off, but we'll see. I got it. pull those two off to get the corner on right there and right here. I think we got 4 more to go. 4 more seams for 6 blocks, and then we'll have to repeat the same process all over again. Hold on, guys. I feel like I should be saying stuff to you guys, but in true essence, I just sit here quietly and sew. That's what I do. It's only me and my husband, so he likes different stuff than I would watch on television, so can't talk to him. I think we're done. Take everything off, press it, make sure all the pieces are there, and then I will show you what it looks like on a design wall. Let me put this up here just in case. Move this phone. I got all these purple half square triangles from my binding. I use scrappy binding on my quilt, so I'll just chain piece one of those through to get my block off, so I don't have to break my thread. Alright, I'm going to cut that machine off for a minute. Show you my block. Right here. All 4 corners. Barely noticeable with the differences in even the teals and the greens, and then also in the reds. As I said, it's an experiment. So let me press these other ones open. Just wanted you to see what we were ending with. And then when I come back, I'll make sure that I press these blocks flat. Green. Very nice. Everything matched up just perfectly. I'm folding stuff over because I don't have enough room here. Last one. And Doris always asking me what I recommend the pineapple dye. This is the one of the easiest ways. I haven't put the blocks together yet, but I'm thinking because the pieces match up very well that they are going to match up when I go to sew the blocks together. They are going to be thick seams because all of the seams are going from the center out, but there is no way you can get around that with the pineapple. If as you're constructing it, it's just conducive to press the seams out, not in. I'm getting a design wall for you guys. I'm hoping that I can put all 6. I I got my card making stuff sitting right here because I just finished that mini album last night as well. So I just knocked it over, some of it. But anyway, so this is what it's going to look like. Look like they're lining up pretty good. And these have not been pressed either, so keep that in mind as well. Okay. Right here, trying to see where I can get the most of it in the picture. Right here. Okay, that's the best I can get. So I think it's going to be cute. Who knows? I might just do 12 blocks and then we do another configuration of the pineapples. Who knows what I'll do? It's really pretty. I'm stepping on my scrapbooking stuff. Ugh. Let me pick it up. I had it all stacked so I could take it to the back. And then I just came around the corner and bumped right into it. Doris O was asking if I recommend the pineapple die. I think it matches up really good long as you sew the full 1/4 inch seam. I like that they have all the directions inside. So, I mean, they didn't skimp on the directions. What I don't like is that it's not on 8.5 by 11 paper, but I think you used to could go to Teaquilts.com and download any of the instructions for the dies, and you could print it on regular printer paper. But they got a lot of instructions. So they've got instruction pages here in black and white for people that don't necessarily need color. Then they've got the instructions in color. So I think they do an excellent job with, at least they don't sell you a product and then don't show you how to use it. So they even got some examples up here of some other pineapple quilts that you can make based on your coloring. So they don't leave you hanging. If you're thinking about getting it, the die is two-tone. But what I do is that I mark 1/4 inch on the outside of the two-tone. So that way, whatever size rectangle they tell me to cut, I can just lay it right into that spot. I don't have to worry about, am I covering all the points? I just make sure I put my fabric on this straight line that I drew in. So I love AccuQuilt products. Trying to make sure I put this somewhere where I don't step on it. Okay, so let me read the comments. And I forgot, of course, what last comment I read. Let's see. June saying I'll have to get that die. I have a few you haven't used yet. When I go see my granddaughter, they have a store you can buy the dies. Linda says, I have the electric AccuQuilt cutter. That's what I cut mines on. I actually didn't even use my studio. I don't know if you all remember, I actually drove almost to Chicago to go pick up a system. The Electric Go was, I think it was like $470 or something like that, but it also came with 2.5-inch strip die. It had some other dies. It had about 5 or 6 other dies, and I already had those dies, so I sold them. And then, so I got some of my money back. And then they had mats were also included, and the book. So it was a lot that I got for it. She says, my shoulders couldn't handle the manual ones. I'm thinking the die would be a great addition. Thanks, T. You're so welcome. Now, remember, if you go buy any AccuQuilt products, please look in the description of any of my videos and use my link so that I get credit for sending you over to buy a particular die if you buy it online. I know a lot of you all buy in the store. I used to buy in the store. I don't find that I get the same deal in the store as I do from AccuQuilt, but you've got to be selective when you buy. I don't normally buy when they do just 20% off because they do that all the time. So I wait until they do 30, 40, or buy one die, get one free, something like that. So I tend to wait them out. And then the closer it gets to Christmas, I notice that sometimes the better the deals are. So I do try to get everything on sale if I can. And Sin is saying, we won't tell if you don't. That's when I said that piece had a matching piece in the same block. It happens all the time. That's why my goal is not to have the same piece. So when it does happen, it's not happening all the time. And Mary is telling Rose that she has craft stuff everywhere. Sewing room, bedroom, dining room. Don't we all? um, I have, I think Mary is asking, do I have the electric? I have the Electric Go, and I also have the Studio Die Cutter, and I've been using the Studio Die Cutter for years. I've actually had the Go system as well. I sold it when I actually got the Studio because the Go, to me, the handle is much harder to turn. When I got the Studio, it was like the difference when they say when you're, something is a difference, like it turns like butter or churns like butter. That's exactly what the Studio is. It's a whole lot easier to turn that handle than it is to turn the Go handle. But since they came out with the electric, and I got it at a great deal, and knowing that I could get some money back by selling some other dies, I went ahead and bought it. And I bought it for 2 reasons. Number one, because I do have a lot of Go dies. And number 2, because I also do teaching. And sometimes when I'm doing those type of classes where people can die cut, if somebody else bring their die, they don't have to bring their systems. I'll take both of my systems in, and then we've got at least 2 places that people can cut. So that was my second reason. Rose says, no one is going to notice that, and if they do, so what? It's still beautiful. Thank you, guys. Yes, T has the Studio, but I also have the Go Electric. And Damali says, I hope you got your cool water nearby. I had some. It's probably lukewarm now. I was drinking what I shouldn't be drinking, is Welch's fruit punch. I just grabbed one out the refrigerator before I started. That's when I was actually sewing the mask. I was doing that right before I went live. Linda Griffith says, the electric is not a Studio. That's correct. Out of all those blocks and all those fabrics, the fact that you had only one duplicate fabric in one block is amazing. It wouldn't endanger your quilter extraordinaire status. Was hoping the electric might work. The electric will cut. They have the pineapple die for both Studio and go. I don't know, and I'm thinking that this dye, because it's pretty narrow, that it'll also go in the baby. It's pretty narrow. And the baby takes dye boards up to 6 inches, and that's what I think this is. So it'll go in the Go Baby, the regular Go, the Go Electric, and you can also use Go dyes on your studio system if you have the adapter plate. So it would work in all of your systems except for that new thing they came out with, the Go Me. Probably wouldn't work in that. Shaquita says we can send all the fabric to T to cut. You know, I used to sell tumbler kits. I would cut them out of boutiques and stuff, or some of them I've done out of scraps. I used to sell them. I can't even remember if I even got any more here, but yeah, that's funny. Uh, and Kelly A is saying, "Ooh, great idea." Okay. Uh, Tina says, "T, since I read that the Amish always make a mistake in their quilts cause only God is perfect. I'm so fine whenever I make a mistake." Yes. And that's why I said, like, you know, fabric has two sides, and I normally do not. If I sew a fabric on the wrong side and it's a scrap quilt, I just keep going, because when the whole quilt's done, you don't see it. But because these two fabrics, the teal and the greens, are such close family members, I wanted to go ahead and take it out. I normally don't. So Rose says, I did the paper piecing on a couple of projects, but I always felt like pulling the paper adds stress to the seams. It's how you're pulling your paper out. I always, when I'm paper piecing and I'm pulling out paper piecing, I fold my seam allowance in so that it has a crease on it before I even stitch it. And then when I go to pull it out, I fold back on that again. Even though I've stitched over that crease line, it tends to, I pull the seam allowance out first, and then I pull out the bigger piece. So maybe try a different way of pulling it out, Rose. Linda says, when I do paper piecing, I use telephone book pages. It rips out super easy. Mary is telling Tina, it used to frustrate me not to have perfect blocks, but I would never finish anything if I took it all out. So now I just let it go. And that's true too. The only time I try to worry about like being super perfect, especially when I was beginning, is if I was in some kind of a block swap or something like that, because that's why when I design things for us to do, I try to make it so that when the receiver gets them, that they can square them up some kind of way. And but there are certain blocks when you have star points, and you can't, everybody's block has got to be the correct size in order for those blocks to go together. Like with this pineapple, if I'm collecting pineapple blocks from 7 different people, and everybody is using a different 1/4 inch seam allowance, because that's what we do, and then they don't match up. So you just, sometimes you do have to be perfect. Sometimes you have to measure as you go. So if your block is bigger than it should be, then you need to adjust and trim it so that it's not as big as it should be. And then when you add your next round on, make sure that you're sewing that correct seam allowance. If it's too short in the middle, then you need to sew a scant seam somewhere so you can get that block back up to size. So sometimes it makes a difference. Most times it does not. And Tina says, just remember to thumbs up. So thanks, Tina, for the reminder. People, thumbs up if you get a chance for me. I appreciate it. And thanks, Sin, again for the $4.99. I appreciate that as well. June Hansen says, Shaquita, that's a great idea. You would even pay her to cut them. Tiffany says, be right back. She's got to get something to eat. Do you know I haven't eaten anything all day? That's why I drank this. That's why I wasn't supposed to have this. I don't normally eat until like noon or 1 o'clock. But when I came on at 1, I was working on the mask. I started at when I got back home about 11:30. And then I talked to a friend. Well, I talked to 2 friends, actually. An ex-boss. And then I talked to one of my quilting friends that's been friend for over 30 years. So, and then I got a little distracted with those two people while I was also making masks at the same time. So then I didn't have enough time. And then about 20 minutes till, I'm like, what can I eat quick? And I didn't want the things that I can make quick, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a grilled cheese sandwich. Even I could probably even made French fries, but I was like, no, I want real food. So I'm holding out. So I'm on empty. Uh, and Kelly A says, good idea, Linda. I assume most folks in this chat are old enough to know what a phone book is. Yes, I actually use, when I do use paper piecing, I either use phone book or I'll use the paper on the underside of the Warm and Natural batting roll because it's free. So yeah, I have used all of that. I think I've even mentioned that in some of my videos where I do the string piecing. Um, People saying that's a beautiful block. Thank you, Kim. Um, Mary says she received yellow pages delivered recently. I thought they had gone by the wayside with the internet. I think sometimes you get your local ones. And I think they do that for more for the advertisement of your local businesses. I don't think I've ever gotten the big yellow pages. I've always get the little short ones. June says, I was going to the post office when you came on and it can wait. I think it's something else I got to do today, but right now I can't remember. I didn't get to the grocery store I was planning on getting to, that's for sure. And I also, if you're using phone books, please make sure that you're using one that's like a couple of years old or so. Because when I had my other machines, and I know when I used them and they weren't, like if I used one that was only like a year old, I found that all the ink and stuff, it changed the color of my machine. And it's not this one, it's my Singer that I used to paper piece on all the time. And I realized that if I used a book that was 4 or even 5 years old, then I didn't have that problem. So I always make sure that I keep a book like every 5 years just in case. And then if I have an old one, then and I don't need the new one, then I'll just let that new one go. Because I still got one big one and one small one. And you got a lot of pages in there. So thank you, Regina. She's saying that the blocks are beautiful. Shaquita says, at June, yes, I do not like cutting, especially with patterns that say cut 500 of piece A. Could be why I have not done a Bonnie Hunter quilt. Yes, that Bonnie Hunter don't play. When you go to do a Bonnie Hunter quilt, you got to be ready to make 300 half square triangles. and it's not fun. And me, I don't like making 300 of anything before I make the next unit. I'm just one of those people, I get bored really fast, so it's hard for me to sew those. Now, saying that, I probably have done maybe 2 of her mystery quilts. I think it's 2. It could be 3, but I think 2. But yeah. And then Rose says, hey, the sound of the sewing machine is music to our ears. June says, I did one of Bonnie Hunter's. It took me 4 years to get it done, so no more of hers. Kim says, itty bitty pieces are what has kept me from doing a Baltimore Ablum quilt. And that's another quilt that I want to do, is a Baltimore Ablum quilt. It's mostly hand applique, and then sometimes they'll have intricate sashing in between. Sometimes it just depends on how you want to set yours. But they're really beautiful. That's another quilt I have on my list. I also want to make a crazy quilt one day, so that's on my list. And it'll probably be a combination of machine stitching with hand stitching, because I don't do too many stitches, like embroidery stitches by hand. And Kelly is seconding Shaquita. She says, I'm the same way. If I read a pattern and hear my inner voice scream, you want me to cut how many squares? I just move right along to the next pattern. June says, yep, me too. And Mary says, bravo, love the red corners. Thank you so much. Kelly says, beautiful. I love having the four corners match. I love having the four corners match the center square. Yeah, and mine's is a little bit different. It's the red on this one because I didn't know how many blocks I was going to make, so I wanted to use 3. You see the little gold sparkle? That's the only difference. They kind of in the same family, sort of, kind of. Very close. I was trying not to get high contrast on anything. Sin says that it's pretty. Linda says, I love scrap quilts. So small pieces are my thing. I actually cut a Bonnie Hunter quilt that it takes 10,000 1.5 inch squares. I haven't quite finished it yet. Rose says, wow, those are beautiful, T. I do love your color choices. Thank you so much. Melody Shinwith is here. Says, very pretty. Now I need to purchase the pineapple dye. Oh my gosh. I'm an enabler, but I'm also I'm a gadget junkie. And so I like trying new things. And so I had to put like on hold buying, you know, all the newest gadgets that are out. I don't even know what new gadgets are out anymore. So what I want to get my gadget fix, I'll just go buy some dyes because at least I know I can use it. So thank you guys on the blocks. And Leetta says, I love small pieces too. Leetta has probably done every Bonnie Hunter mystery. She loves Bonnie Hunter quilts, and she loves the challenge, and she gets them done within a year too. So it doesn't take her long. And sometimes she's made more than one, okay? So she's pretty good. Tiffany's back. Monica Puka says, love this pattern and use such nice colors. And you use such nice colors. I know sometimes they do corrections. So thank you so much, Monica. I appreciate that. And Linda says when she finishes, she's going to post a picture on the Teaquilts Facebook page. Just trying to make sure I get everybody's comments. Dara saying they're beautiful. You do great work. Thank you so much. Tucker came in here. Wow, that is beautiful. Hi, Tucker. Tucker, I haven't been over on your page. I've been real busy. Did you put up the video for your grandmother's quilt? The purple quilt? And Linda says, I say go for it, T. It looks beautiful. I love the secondary blocks of the red. Oh, I love that. That's from Tiffany. Regina says, nice. So you'll have a red triangle. Yes, it's like a square on point. The ginger snaps will also do the same thing. They're trying to help Tiffany's tummy. Thank you, Tina. Says she loves the colors. What's your border going to look like? Wonderful. That's from Regina. I have no idea. This is just an impromptu something so that we could do a sew along so I could have something to do to come on while we're on quarantine. Kelly A said that's different than cutting 800 small pieces all in one go. But I find like with the AccuQuilt system, like if Bonnie Hunter told me to cut to cut pieces for 600 half square triangles, I still find it goes a lot faster for me if I cut it on my die cutting system. So I ignore how she tells me to do things, and if I got a die that will cut it, then I cut it that way. So it's not as cumbersome for me whenever I do decide to do it. The only thing with Bonnie is that they're scrap quilts, and so you need a lot of different fabrics, and it just takes time to iron fabric, to even select a lot of different fabrics. So that's where the time is for me. Rose is asking me, have I ever worn out a set of dies? No, I think some of their dies, because sometimes like when you do squares and half square triangles, you have a lot of dies meeting up in the corners, and they just get stuck into the die. The strings get stuck down in there, and you got to do a lot of cleaning. So on this pineapple, I didn't have that problem at all. And I don't know if it's just this dye or if they have improved how they're making go dye. So I probably need to pull out another one of my newer dyes just to do a test cut to see. My brother's here. He says, hey sis, I'm here, and hi everyone. Hi Ray, how are you? And yes, I am at work, but go back to work. I was thinking that he had taken off today since yesterday was Easter. That is too funny. June says you don't get it in the store, so next time I'll find you and I'll just look. And I didn't get it. I didn't get any points. I think she's talking about purchasing in the store as part of purchasing online. I've always gotten points from AccuQuilt when I purchase online, so I don't know what the issue was. If you follow my link, I do tend to get it. It takes a little while sometimes for it to show up. But yeah, I think it was on Amazon one time somebody told me they had purchased something, but I never saw it come through. Rose says, I do the folding, the paperback too. The telephone book does come out a lot easier. Rose says, I have to go. Hubby is here for TV. She's getting kicked off. My husband will be home in a few minutes. Kelly A said, thanks T for sewing, doing the live today. I know you can't interact in the chat as much, but it's nice to see you working on a project, talking about it as you go. Thank you, Kelly. And see, normally when Diane's in here, she's like answering everybody's question. And Tiffany will do it too as well. And Tiffany was in and out, but Diane will answer everybody's question. So have to see what happened with Diane. Is just making sure she's okay. Sin says, bye 10 everyone, gotta go. My kitty is being high maintenance. Thumbs up. Thank you. On her way out. Elaine F says, is that die for a 12-inch block? This is the Go die. On the Go system, the block is 10 inches. On the Studio system, it is 12 inches. Finished. Carolyn Bowser says, good afternoon, T and all. Thinking of cutting out a quilt. Have fun. Don't just cut it. You got to sew it too. And Tiffany says she's working on patterns she needs to make before she do anything else. And that's what I was working on with the purple quilt, was writing a pattern. So definitely understand that. So I think we are through the chat. We were in here an hour and 45 minutes today. I think we're going to go ahead and end here. Just because I got the 6 blocks done, I wasn't going to get ahead on in 15 minutes, getting ahead on the next set of 6. So we'll just start that next time, maybe next Saturday night. So we'll try for our regular chat is Wednesday. I probably won't do any sewing on Wednesday. We'll have probably another live Saturday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then next Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay? So thank you all so much. June Hansen says, I have the double wedding ring, but I haven't had time to start it. That was one of the first dies that in the second set. It was like the first ones. Like I bought traditional dies at first, and then I realized I wasn't using it because it was easy for me to cut, because I didn't need that many. So then I went and bought the double wedding ring, and I haven't even used that. I cut out a sample, and I don't even think I finished the sample. But yeah, I do need to do that. One. Kelly A said, just went to Facebook and made sure I had all notifications checked, so I find out about the sew along. Okay, that's awesome. And if you're already in the group, you don't have to worry about it, about rejoining. You're already in the group. So yeah, so thank you everybody. By June, by Tina, by Mary, and Tiffany. So I will see you all hopefully Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our regular chat. And we'll be opening up quilt blocks and anything else that might come in the mail by Wednesday. See you all then. Stay blessed and stay safe, everybody. See you later. Bye, Kelly. I gotta read.